Ah, here we go. Yeah, well, there's this thing that they've got on The Guardian. I put it on Facebook. I posted it on there as well. I shared it on. A mirror vision of industrial failure, the UK lorry trade. Polly Toynbee, apparently that's who's come up with all this. No unions to force pay and conditions, no state intervention to rescue any industry in crisis. Wouldn't be a truck driver. Sorry, who'd be a truck driver, should I say, sorry. But the question that people have asked me is, would you recommend it, or what's it like, and this, that and the other. And I've read through all this, and it just made me smile, it did, because everything that's been written down here is exactly what it's like. It's complete and utter crap. Now, I love to drive, but that's different, right? I mean, I can drive these all day. I would never want to live in one, to be fair, because I couldn't get that in that route. It'd send me scatty. But I do like to drive, and driving these is a lot of fun for me. But on the other side of it, it's a job that's a very thankless job, and I've mentioned this before. There's a lot of responsibility involved in driving one of these things. You have to deal with a lot of idiots on the road, and through that, it just doesn't really warrant the shit that you get, the money you get paid. It really doesn't. And all this report that was on there, which I like to say, it's on Facebook, is great. It just proves that realistically, lorry driving ain't what it used to be. The fact that the facilities that you come to, when they mentioned about the services and the state of them, well, that to me is not so much the services themselves, it's the drivers that misuse them. Because there's a lot of places you go to where the drivers, they are downright disgusting. They really are. And there isn't any need for it. Doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Going to the toilet around the site instead of walking across the fucking way to go to the toilet in where the facilities are. When they do get to some of the facilities, they ruin them. I don't know how people do this. I mean, there's some places you can go to which, they do have proper cleaning crews there to clean the toilets. But my argument is this: why should these people who do clean them clean up your filth? Because that's what happens in some of these places, right? You've got crap everywhere. I'm like, good grief. And that's no word of a lie. Some of the states that these toilets become is just, well... So it's the services side of things as mentioned on here. That, to me, I'm afraid, is drivers' fault. If they don't respect the services, then the people who run them, sometimes I think to myself, well, I don't know why they'll just say, fuck it. You know what I mean? But obviously they can't for hygiene purposes. But that's down to the driver themselves. If you want decent facilities and you want more facilities to be added, you've got to look after the ones that you've got and treat them with respect. And remember that it's not just you that uses them, it's everybody else. The fact that they go on about there's now another, it's 60,000 drivers short in this country. So what they do is they employ foreign drivers out there and bring them over. But the problem with that is that when they do come out, and no disrespect to any foreign drivers, because they're not all like this, because don't forget, we're as bad, right? There's drivers that are from this country that, to be honest with you, it astounds me how they've got licences in the first place. So for all of you out there who are watching this now, me going on about it, tough shit, because it is the truth, and if you don't like it, turn off. But the problem is the standard of driving goes down, and when the standard of driving goes down, that's when things start to fuck up, right? But they're trying to encourage younger drivers, and that's when the CPC comes into it. And I'm like, what does the CPC actually prove to a driver that says, oh, you're awesome because you've got a CPC card? Now, I'll restate that. You've got a CPC card. It didn't say that you acquired one or you passed a test to acquire one. You was just given one by attending a fucking classroom for 35 hours. If it was worth the plastic that you actually got it printed on, then you would have set modules, the 7 hours each, and you would have to pass. There'd have to be a percentage that you'd have to do to pass it. I've got a CPC card, so that means that I am fucking awesome, apparently. But the only course that I took was 7 times. Well, 5 times. So 5 times I took it, 7 hours each time, 35 hours in total of one course. That's all I did. So I am an expert now on Boris's bikes. And I always take the piss out of that because that just makes me laugh. Right? So all the cycle stuff out there that's to deal with the traffic and all that shit that goes on with it, which I fucking hate and detest, but there you go. I'm an expert on. But apparently there are 10, count them, 10 modules, right, that are available for the CPC. Why? If there's 5 separate classes at 7 hours each, there should only really be 5 courses, starting from 1 and ending at 5. That makes sense. You must get an average of, say, I don't know, 85% to pass each class. If you fail, you have to take it again until you pass it. Then when you completed the 5th one, which you should pass them all anyway, then that certificate in your card is actually worth something. But until that comes across, it's not. And to say that they're going to give these younger drivers the ability to drive HGVs with a CPC card that means absolutely nothing, then it's just going to get worse and worse. And obviously in the next few years you're going to have all the older drivers who are leaving, and there's going to be an even bigger gap of drivers needed. It's now good saying we need these people to drive trucks. You've got to make the job worthwhile. And I will be honest with you, it's not. It's not at all. There are the little minority jobs out there which are great to have, right? You have specific ones. You can have the cushy jobs like the supermarket stuff, if you like. And before you start, I've already done it. I know it's like it is easy. But again, not everybody can drive for a supermarket. You know, the haulage covers everything. It covers all of it, from car transports to your medical stuff, right? From cardboard box packaging to fucking printer paper. Whatever you use at home, your shoes, your jeans, your clothes, your t-shirt, the meals on your fucking table, everything that you have or own has been transported at one point or another by a lorry. So there's got to be a range of things out there, but until they actually change the way they run this shit, it's never going to get any better. Me personally, if you're a school leaver and you've got a brain in your head, then lorry driving ain't going to be for you. And realistically, I would not encourage you to do it, because it is a fucking shit job to have. It really is. I don't find any fun in it at all. It's boring half the time, and the traffic's getting worse. It's getting well worse. What is the point in sitting in fucking traffic all the time? The traffic calming crap that they've put on the motorways. The Birmingham side of it, that ain't worked. It's still just as bad. You still can spend over an hour getting from junction 10 down to junction 8. It's stupid. But hey, whatever. I'm only a lorry driver. I'm supposed to be thick and stupid. That's what we're supposed to be. But, you know, at the end of the day, the shortage of lorry drivers is always going to be a shortage, no matter how you look at it, because it's not the type of job that realistically encourages people to come and work, because, believe it or not, it is a dead-end job. There's no career in it, as in you can't advance once you've paid for your license, which apparently these days now costs you over £3,000 to achieve, right? Most people who are young haven't got that kind of money. They're trying to now put apprenticeships in position, because obviously a lot of companies say you need X amount of experience to drive a vehicle. There's a catch-22 straight away. how can you have experience driving a vehicle if no fucker will actually employ you to drive one? So then you have, whereas these new drivers go into agencies, they get chucked in at the deep end and not have any experience of being, right, they've got a guy sitting there with you, right, to take you on the journey, to point out the mistakes that you're making. No, you're just out there and that's the end of it. That's where bad driving comes into it. That's where the lack of education comes into it. But the apprentice side would be brilliant. I agree with that 100%. I reckon all lorry driving, haulage companies should do it and have younger drivers in the seat with a mature, fucking sensible driver sitting there to look after the kid who's in there driving it. But that'll never happen because it costs too much money. But eventually something's got to happen, I think personally. And what do you think? Do you think that's what should happen? Can you imagine, say, if you seen a career as being a lorry driver and the wages weren't minimum wages, because a lot of them are, right, for this kind of responsibility. When you think, if you take this all in, as well as driving on the road as well, right, the vehicle, the trailer, the product on the back of the trailer, you're talking what, £250,000 you're responsible for, right? And sometimes more, depending on what you carry. If you're a car transporter and you're carrying fucking Porsches or Ferraris, it goes up into the millions then, doesn't it? It all depends on what you're carrying. But it's a big responsibility for minimum wage. I'm sorry, but it just is. And if you do want to encourage people to drive a vehicle, you need to make it worth their while. Nobody wants us to be put up with all this kind of shit. If you want drivers to spend a week out in the cab, right, pulling your stuff, me personally, I think that you should respect that driver in that regard as well, because he is now away from home for 5 days a week. You should make sure that that vehicle that he actually drives is the only vehicle that he drives. Nobody else should drive that vehicle. That's his fucking home for a week. That's showing respect for that person who is sacrificing 5 to 6 days a week of his life away from home. Will that ever happen? Will it fuck? Because that's my ideal world, that is, by the way. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are companies out there that do, but believe it or not, they are a minority. They're not a majority of them. There's only a small amount of companies out there, because my brother-in-law is part of one of those small companies, that his truck is his truck. If he's on holiday, he gets parked up, right? But these type of big ones, they won't. They keep fucking dishing them out and giving them to anybody who's got a licence in there to go and do the job. But, you know, what do you do? How do you change something that seems to be stuck in this rut? I don't know. I really don't know. Me personally, I just think it needs a big shake-up from the companies that have their product collected and delivered to the haulage companies that actually go out there fighting to cut prices down, like, you know, undercutting other hauliers. It's just ridiculous. But me personally, I think it should be, get the apprentice side of it sorted out, brilliant, have a mature driver there who knows what he's fucking doing, to teach the kid who is novice at it to do it correctly, and then the driving standard would lift. It would then get a lot easier, and the traffic accidents as well involving trucks would also come down as well, I think, in that regard. Well, what do you think anyway? I'll leave it with you. I'll let you know. I wanted to have a natter about that because it's something that has always made me smile when I see it. Oh, we've got a shortage of drivers. Yeah, well, don't treat them like shit then. And drivers yourselves, be a little bit more thoughtful for others as well. I mean, it helps both ways. It really does. Anyway, I hope I haven't ranted too much about it, but you lot have a moan and a whinge yourself. Put some comments down there and let me know what you think. Whether I'm either making sense or talking out my arse or whatever, you just put a comment down there and let me know. And we'll have fun with that one. We might revisit it again some other time, right? You'll have a good afternoon, and well, is it still good morning actually? Because it's there you are, still morning at the minute. It's 11:10, and I'll speak to you later. I may put the cameras on. I ain't decided yet. I'm gonna go then. See you later. Bye.